Alright guys, welcome back. I'm Logan from Logan's Lures. Today we're going to be doing basically just a setup or my workstation when I create lures. So we're going to start from the right and go left. Let's get started. Alright, so right here you see just broken glass. I use Pyrex because that's the best to use when you're making lures because it doesn't break when it gets hot. I just dropped that one. And right here we got 2 pairs of gloves. These are my absolute favorite. I use them every day when I do lures. And then some safety goggles. Make sure you guys have safety goggles when you make lures. You don't want the hot plastic in your eyes. It's just not a good thing. And just, there's another basically UV glove, old safety glove. And underneath that, we got just a pan I used to do outdoor lure making on open flame, but I would not suggest doing that. There's too many things that can go wrong. The plastic might be flammable, might catch on fire. You just don't want to have to go through that. And then these are my 2 main Pyrex glasses I use, just because they're small enough, not like this big one, that it just helps mix small batches of plastic when I'm not making industrial size plastics. And so after that you see basically this plastic right here. I was using this is my old swim bait plastic. It's kind of like a silver pearl color, I'd say. It's just silver with some flake in it. So then you got this kind of looks like a black, but it's really a June bug. It's just kind of dark right now. And then right here is the main stuff I use. It's Plastisol 1 gallon at shopbaitjunkies.com. It's really good stuff. Mixes really easy with some heat stabilizer. I'd suggest getting heat stabilizer if you guys are going to mix plastic, because it helps not to burn the plastic. And it's just a really good product. I think I got a gallon of it for about $60, so it's a pretty good deal. Then after that, I got some plaster of Paris. This is what I make all my molds out of. Plaster. I have 1 aluminum mold, but I majority make all my molds out of plaster. And then up here in this container is just basically my dyes. I don't want them to leak, so they're in plastic bag. And then I got my microwave that I cook all my plastic in, heat it all up. And then just basically a screwdriver to get plastic out of the molds if I have to. And a knife to stir up the stuff. Up there I got wax paper. I set all my lures on there just because I don't want them to get on a messy area after I'm done. I usually have a bowl of water out and some olive oil to cool the baits down once they're done in the molds, and then olive oil so they don't stick to the molds before I put them in there. Now, let's get to the drawers down here. First off, I have this drawer. I have, I think, 5 or 6 different molds. I'll get to those in a second, but this is basically this drawer I put them in. Also, I got some Lucky Craft silver eyes, and then some red eyes. Then I got aluminum mold, plastic mold I made, and then just my injector. And there's also a ruler in there too. Then after that, I got this drawer right here, basically just all the old plastic I don't use, plastic I want to remelt down, like this translucent clear, watermelon, just all the old plastics I have in here. And then also my shipping bags. You always want these. Then down here, basically just, I got those are my mold, what I make the molds in. Those little Tupperware containers, and I got a huge stirring thing. I don't know why I have that. Okay, and now I'll be back to show you the molds. Alright guys, we're back. I got all the molds set up, so let's get to show you them. First off, I have this one right here. It's probably the biggest one I have. It's a Rage Chrome mold. I made it by just putting plaster Paris down, letting it set for about half the time that it dries for, put the lure halfway in, pour a top coat on, and then before I put the top coat on, I actually put some car wax so they wouldn't stick together, and then made little indentation grooves so they fit onto each other. And then right here, just basically a finesse worm mold. It kind of broke because I dropped it. And then same thing here, finesse worm mold. Now let's go on to this one. This one is actually a swim bait mold. It's not the best, but it's just basically a money minnow, I think Yum Money Minnow. And again with the indention grooves, but they didn't work out too well. And then for the last plaster mold, I have another Rage Craw. This is probably the better one, except for this tail right here. The antenna, or the craw, actual claw, didn't turn out too well, but that's the thing with these handmade molds. They're not going to be perfect, so they're unique and they're really fun to make lures out of, and they still catch fish. Right here I sanded down with a screwdriver a little bit, and it just makes wonderful craw claws, because it just has these little grooves that displace a little more water, and it just makes it, I think, amazing. And then this one I made at school on a 3D printer. It's just basically a small drop shot worm, again with the holes. And this one is my beauty. I actually bought this one. It's a swim bait mold with you can either have it with a slit in the belly with, if you use this piece right here, or if you just leave it out, it just fills in and there's no slit, no hollow belly. And this is the injector I bought with it too. It's really good, but you got to be careful when you're pouring it in, because if you get too much pressure, it will pop the cap off this and you'll get plastic all over you. So you just got to be careful. Now I'll be back to show you my dyes. Alright guys, time to show you the dyes. Alright, first off we have white, basically our pearl, and that goes really good with swim baits and some craws and worms in spawn. After that we got our chartreuse, green chartreuse, a little bit different than normal chartreuse. It's a little bit more, it has a little hint of watermelon in it. Works really well on the ends of craws and worms. After that, just basically our normal watermelon and green pumpkin. Just add whatever flake you like, and that's basically what you're gonna get. Then we got black, just normal black. We got violet grape, which is more of a June bug, especially if you add some green flake and some black flake in there too. Then we got our big yellow chartreuse. That's just normal JJ's Magic chartreuse. Works really good on, like I said earlier, works really good on the ends of craws and worms and soft plastics. And we got our big June bug, a little bit darker than violet grape, but just June bug I think is really good. And this is the main thing I use. I use it all the time. Heat stabilizer. Whenever you use Plastisol, you have to use heat stabilizer so you don't burn the plastic. If you burn the plastic, it just smells really bad and it doesn't work well when you pour the lure. So make sure you guys get some heat stabilizer. You can find most of this stuff on Lucky Craft, Soft Baits, Lure Craft. Not Lucky Craft, I'm sorry, Lure Craft, but they have really great stuff. Go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description so you can find Lucky Craft and Soft Baits. So I'll see you next time. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and next video I'll show you guys how I pour my lures.